All right, folks, welcome in here to a snow day edition of Southeastern 16 here. Just a quick update. I am the only staff member with internet. Um, we apologize for the no power rankings, the usual live predictions for members. But it has been quite a few days. I hope everyone was able to stay safe this weekend. Blake has been without power for about 2 days now, and I have not had any communication with anybody else. It's been a little bit hectic here. But jump on in. Sam, I'm not sure. No, I'm being honest. Just joking here. But yeah, Blake, I have just talked to a few times. He still does not have power and does not expect to have power all the way into tomorrow. So I'm not sure, like content wise, what we're going to be able to do here, about the next 24 hours. But I thought, hey, why not jump on here? What's a mailbag entail? Whatever you guys want to talk about, honestly. You guys run the show here. We can talk a little bit of bracketology. I was not able to join that prime time reaction. I had an overnight shift. Shane, I got about a few feet for sure. Ground's covered. Can't go too far outside on just boots on the ground. It's pretty nasty out there. But whatever you guys want to talk about, jump on in and we can talk some SEC hoops. How are you guys all doing with the weather? I hope everyone out there was able to stay safe this weekend. How about that Auburn win? Hey, I'll tell you what, I was able to react to that a little bit this past weekend, but I thought that someone asked a few weeks ago, said, is this defense fixable? And I said, I don't think so. I don't know. We're 2 months into the season now, and it's still not fixed, but man, they're playing with effort. They're playing with fight. I think the Sean Murphy injury early on was downplayed a little bit. And given kind of that front court depth there, that lack of front court depth, if you will, with O'Perham going down for the season, I think getting Murph healthy and then also Jovic, what happens with these internationals, takes a little bit of time for them to adjust to NCAA basketball, the physicality. So kind of combine those two things, right? Combine Murph getting healthy and Jovic leaning into the physicality a little bit more, getting comfortable, and this front court has toughened up. You saw what Auburn could do physically against a team like Arkansas. Hasn't been consistent, working on the consistency part, but I mean, hey, who in the SEC right now has been consistent? So yeah, great win for Auburn. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for me to manage the chat here with a lot coming in. Happy Face Coffee with a $2 super chat. Appreciate that. Auburn won't lose another game. You've been on that. You've been calling your shot there with Auburn. It's working out, Happy Face. Let's see what we got. Max, what did you think of Charles Bediako's first game? And this has been the talk of college basketball, has it not? The Bediako case. I've been pretty vocal myself about it. You guys know me, pretty passionate guy, wear my emotions on my sleeves most times. I feel like most people have aired their opinions on the case and everything, and if they believe Bediako should or should not be playing. I won't get too far into that. I think you guys know my opinion on that. But in terms of the basketball, in terms of what the product on the court is, might have lost the game. But holy smokes, if this is, I don't like it. Okay. I don't love it. But if this is the product on the court that's going to be there for the Tide moving forward, and Charles is going to be with this team for the rest of the season, big if, but but holy smokes, he had an offensive rating of 164, kind of like your KenPom game offensive efficiency, 164. I did not go back to last season, but this season, that's the highest offensive rating Tennessee has allowed an opposing big. I just did starting 4 or starting 5 or whoever got, 20 plus minutes at the 4 and the 5 for Tennessee opponents. That was the most efficient offensive performance they had let up all season. I mean, the product on the court from him, he's a beast. You saw those alley-oops. Once he just practices a little bit more with the team, Alabama, they get Amari Allen out there, they get Aiden Holloway out there, and if this is a kind of a 25, or geez, I can't do math on the fly, 20 and 20 minute kind of rotation between Sherrell and Bediako. I know Bediako got more minutes than Sherrell, but Sherrell had the fouls. So I think that split would be pretty even. But if that is the split now for the Alabama 5, geez, guys, they're gonna be a title contender whether you like Bediako being eligible or not. Very, very dangerous team now. You got to give credit to Tennessee in that game. They came to play and they've kind of had Alabama's number the past few games. All right, got a $2 super chat here from Zach. Sup, Max? Hey, I'll tell you what, guys. I am going on 48 hours without a phone. It's been chaos here at Southeastern 16. I broke my phone this weekend, and with the snowstorms, all of the Spectrum stores have been down. So it's been absolute chaos. When you're going through one of those weeks where it's just like the ball just is not bouncing your way. Ball's not bouncing Southeastern 16's way right now, but we're here to talk hoops regardless. Thanks for checking in, Zach. Good to see you. $5 super chat here from Mr. DeVries. That Mizzou game was the best finish I've ever been in attendance for. You were in attendance for that? That may be. We came on here after that game to do our live reaction to that game, and I said that might have been one of the most entertaining games I've ever watched. I was sitting in my bedroom. You were at that thing? Man, that's going to be an experience that you're never going to forget. I think I saw a stat that it was only maybe like the second time in college basketball history that a game had ended on back-to-back buzzer beaters by the same team. I believe there was another game in the 60s that had that type of finish. That was the Trent Pierce buzzer beater that was his only shot he made the whole entire game. And then the Mark Mitchell 3, if you're like, okay, what's the biggest offensive deficiency of Mark Mitchell's entire game? His 3-point shoot. Like, just the way that happened, absolutely unbelievable. Games like that, even given all the craziness of college basketball and even college sports changing over the past few years, it's games like that, finishes like that just keeps you coming back. What an experience to be at that. That's awesome. Big win for Missouri too, just in terms of still trying to stay alive in those tournament hopes. I'm still thinking that they've got a good chance. Right now up to 56th in KenPom. I've been saying all year, guys, you got to get up above 50. Right around 45 is usually the average cutoff. So still alive. Mizzou trying to make it to the tournament, and you're going to have those injuries factored into the committee's, judgment of Missouri's resume. All right, super chats are rolling in today. Drew, I haven't seen. Oh my gosh, Drew with the $2 super chat for Max's new phone fund. Drew, short story for you folks that don't know how I found Southeastern 16. It was Drew King right here on the Mizzou beat that linked me with Blake back in the summer. This had to be May or June of 2023, 3 years ago. Drew was the connection between me and Blake, and then the rest is history there. Drew, it's good to see you. Check in if any of you folks ever need any Missouri beat, any injury news, anything updated. Drew's the guy to go to. He's the main man. And Mizzou Mafia, we're having a Mizzou storm here as I'm making my way down the chat. I'm sorry if I'm getting late to these guys. I'm trying to catch up on all the chats. Remember, for 2 months about the membership, we put out a highlight film of our members only 2K8 season. We're riding the cats here, and we had a big game against a top 5 North Carolina team that may or may not went into overtime. If you guys want to check that out on the channel, quick highlight film. Heard LeBron is going to be coming or Missouri because anyone can do whatever they want. Yeah, I mean, if you guys, I mean, I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be. It's just it's a negative platform. I use the less Twitter I do, the better my mental health is. But I've been pretty vocal about my stance on the Bediako case and just kind of the state of college basketball right now. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. Favorite thing in the whole world. Number one is this sport. So I apologize if it may be your favorite team that I'm criticizing. It comes out of a place of pure love for the sport. Nothing personal. Mr. DeVries again, Justice killing it. Ms. Junior, strong and proud. Man, what a time! What a time to be a junior at Mizzou. What's your opinion? Hey, Justice, what's your opinion on T.O. Barrett starting to take the reins there as Missouri's Missouri's main guy, bringing the ball up, initiating the offense? Had a lot of big hope for Ant Robinson coming into this year. His analytics were always real high, always super efficient as a point guard. But lately, it's been 28 minutes, and then 39 minutes first start of the year for T.O. Barrett, 6'4" sophomore out of Oklahoma City. What are your, and all Mizzou fans really, what are your thoughts and kind of how are you feeling about T.O. Barrett starting to take over? Donovan, $2 super chat. Man, you guys are just on a roll today. Donovan, good to see you. How would you rank the conferences this year? Oh, what a question. Fantastic question. Absolutely fantastic question here, Donovan. So, top to bottom, like team 1 through the last team in your conference, if we're judging all of that through every conference, I think the SEC is still the best. Now, what if we're talking about like what conference are you going to probably have the most teams in your Elite 8 from? Or what conference would you potentially pick 2 teams in the Final Four from last year, the SEC with Auburn and Florida, right? So if you're judging it in that sense of like what is the most elite conference, I think it's the Big 12. The Big 10 is going to have some strong contenders. But the Big 10, when you do the top to bottom argument, you have a few teams. I believe it's really 4 teams right now. Rutgers, Northwestern, Maryland, and Penn State are all sub 90 in KenPom. So they all have got net ratings and analytical ratings that really drag the bottom of the conference down, even though you've got Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois, and Purdue all in the top 8. Yeah, 4 teams in the top 8 for the Big 10 with Nebraska at 12. So honestly, with what Nebraska's been doing, I may talk myself into the Big 10 here. But as we go to the Big 12, you've got the Arizona, Houston, Iowa State, BYU, Texas Tech, top of the group, and Kansas, that are all in the top 18. So that's 4 of the top 8 in the Big 10 or 6 of the top 18 from the Big 12. But both of those have teams that are like sub 90, sub 100. So when you do the top to bottom argument for conferences, I still think the bottom of the SEC is good enough to make that the best overall. But if you're talking about the most elite conference, the best chance at soaking up space in the Elite 8, potentially having 2 teams, 3 teams in the Final Four, it's got to be the Big 12 or the Big 10. And man, honestly, with the way that Nebraska and Michigan State have been flying up the analytics, I might have to lean Big 10 right now. If you asked me a month ago, I might have said Big 12. But great question. It's a cool race right now, honestly, for best conference this year. Whereas last year it was a little bit more, I don't know, easy to tell that at the I will link that in the comments. We do have these hats for sale. We've got mugs. I've got a mug right here. We've got mugs, hoodies, crew necks, and everything. Loop back around after, and I'll put that link in the description if you guys want some Southeastern 16 merch. Okay, making my way down here. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind. I'm about 5 minutes behind on chats, guys. Gonna catch up as quick as I can. Max, did you watch the Houston Texas Tech game? Looked like a Final Four game. I watched every second, Holly. It was absolutely fantastic. The freshmen this year in college basketball, I really hope all of the outside noise of what's going on with the NCAA and, eligibility and everything doesn't cloud the incredible freshman class in college basketball this year and just how elite they are. Especially what a breath of fresh air growing up on freshman stars running the sport. And then the past few years really being dominated by the older COVID year guys. For me personally, I love seeing the freshmen kind of dominate the sport. Talking about Kingston Flemings, Wagler from Illinois had an incredible year. I believe it was the first year since the 60s, I think. Could be wrong on this, but I saw an ESPN graphic. It was it's the first year in a long time where two freshmen had 40-point games on the same day with Wagler and Kingston Flemings on Saturday. Just unbelievable. And then on the Texas Tech side, Christian Anderson, JT Toppin, and McCaslin is a heck of a coach. I like both of those teams, to be honest. I was a little bit down on Houston early in the year. No Jawan Roberts, no LJ Cryer, some guys that played a ton of basketball. But the way that Kingston Flemings is playing, guards win in March, that guy's a winner right there. Okay, good question, Holly. Thanks. EJ says, what a game. Yeah, that was an incredible game. Honestly, an incredible Saturday of college hoops. Maybe the best of the year so far. Zach, again, killing it. $5 super chat. Appreciate that, Zach. Waiting on Auburn to call. Cooper. They could use a PG1. Yeah, it's been funny to see, not funny, I guess, but just the reaction to non-Alabama fan bases, having a little fun with dropping different former players that could potentially be eligible and whatnot. I think it was Kennedy Chandler, maybe. I think I saw Wendell Green put out a tweet, joking around a little bit. But yeah, wouldn't that be something? All right, moving along here. I gotta speed up here, guys. I'm sorry. You guys know me. I get a good question and I dig in. I'm sorry. Okay, Auburn fan, $5 super chat. Appreciate that. What's up, Max? Tell me about Keyshawn Hall as the best player in the SEC. And now once Auburn makes outside shots, we will win the conference. Ooh, that's a bold take there. You could go back to the preseason SEC awards release, and when Keyshawn Hall was left off all teams, it was Zach and I. Zach and I were calling for the police. So call the cops. They left off Keyshawn Hall, their top 15 SEC players in the preseason. Don't know what the deal was there. Maybe just, transfer from outside the conference and just forgot about him, or I don't know. But he's got to get his turnover rate down a little bit. He could be a little bit better of a creator, as good as he is, if you're nitpicking his game. But Auburn at 4-3 in the conference, tied with Missouri, Georgia, and Vanderbilt. That's four really good teams knotted up at 4-3. And then you've got Kentucky, Arkansas, Florida tied for second at 5-2. And Texas A&M all alone at the top at 6-1. Hey, any of those teams I just listed, certainly doable to go on a run and contend for this SEC title. I don't think Texas A&M is going to hold on and win it, but they are perfectly capable. This thing's wide open right now. Anybody gets hot and starts, finding that lineup that's clicking, might be Auburn with the way that they've been playing. 100% has a shot to win this league. And it makes it for an extremely entertaining February that we're about to roll into. This league is up for grabs. Mizzou Mafia responding to my question there about T.O. Barrett. Likes the T.O. Barrett minutes. I do too, to be honest. A little bit tough with his shooting, with the spacing. But if you play the lineups right, I absolutely love
the aggression and the physicality. You guys know me with the bully ball. I love T.O. Barrett. 9-time champion checking in. Thank you with the $5 super chat. Adjust the power rankings. Tuscaloosa Judge Booster just ruled Alabama actually beat Tennessee. I haven't seen that one yet. That one caught me off guard. That's a good one. But I know power rankings. That's why it comes at a bad time. This snowstorm, this ice storm, because power rankings would have really been that would have been chaos trying to judge this Alabama team. But we have to wait for tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is when we will find out moving forward if we'll have more Charles Bediako or less. So I'm gonna hold off strong opinions on rest of season Alabama until we find out what's going on with Bediako the rest of the year. But if he is going to play and the rest, and Amari Allen's, not a long-term thing. I believe Nate Oates came out and said that both Allen and Holloway were not long-term. Then I don't know whether you love it or hate it. I don't know how you could not put this Alabama team as a title contender here in the league. But still, wait and see mode there. You guys know kind of where I stand on that whole thing. Good to see Bo in here. Giga Maggies, some Texas A&M fans rolling in. Hey, I love to see it. Justice, again, MVP of the chat here. And if I miss any of these super chats, guys, just let me know and I'll scroll back up and get them. I might miss a question or two here. I think Robinson is a better ball handler and shooter, but T.O. Barrett for sure makes up for it in his drive and bully ball. Yes, for his size. Crazy stat about T.O. Barrett here. I know I've mentioned him a few times. I won't stay too long on this one, but crazy stat for T.O. Barrett. He has played 39 games in his career, and he's only made 2 threes. 39 games, 2 threes. He's 2 for 18 in his career, 2 for 16 this year. But he's 64% from 2, 83% from the free throw line. He's got the 13th highest steal rate in the SEC and the 21st highest assist rate. He's got to get the turnover rate down. It's kind of a product of how he plays. Shoulder down, barreling into that lane. He's got to get the turnovers down a little bit. But you got to love his aggression and honestly his confidence right now with the ball in his hands. All right. We'll reset here. Was I freezing, guys? I'm sorry. Let me know if that was about 7 minutes ago. Jeez, I got to catch up here. Man, you guys are active in the chat today. I'm loving it. A little snow day, little SEC snow day. All right. Big Gator EJ with a good point here. That Arkansas win over Texas Tech is going to do wonders in March Madness seeding. You're starting to see, guys, that opponents outside the league, non-conference wins or losses, and how those teams are overperforming or underperforming is affecting seed lines. It really is. Like a Michigan State who, to start January, was 15th in KenPom. Right now they're 4th. Right? So like those Arkansas and Kentucky losses to Michigan State when Michigan State was ranked in the mid-30s in the analytics now look way better. That Michigan State is a top 4 analytical team with the number 1 defense in the country. So yes, just like Arkansas and Texas Tech, these non-conference top tier wins or losses, you're now starting to see it affect your own analytics, even though they were played quite some time ago. Okay, let's keep going on here. Man, this is just great how much basketball you guys are willing to talk on a snow day. Some more dams here. 9-time Will hopping in. I do need to get to some ad reads. Thank you, Sam. I do not have the reads in front of me, so we will be on the fly there. We will be on the fly. All right. ES here with a take. I'm personally not a fan at all of the G League coming back to college takes away from the kids out of high school. Yeah, so the main difference, honestly, I will dig in for just a half second here. The main difference here with this Bediako case to all the other ones, and I'll just say out flat out, okay, I am a fan of 2010s college basketball. The amount of times this season that I've gone on YouTube and looked up a 2014 March Madness game, a 2016, ACC championship, just to get that feel, that old college basketball. That's the college basketball I grew up on and I came to love. So I don't like all the changes to begin with. Okay, I guess that's how I'll start. But the international guys, the Euro guys that had been pro, even the Najee case, which is I don't like him playing, but all those guys did not previously enroll at an NCAA institution and compete for multiple seasons in the NCAA and then voluntarily leave, knowing when I compete for a few years and then leave and stay in a professional league that I can't come back. That's the difference there. None of those European guys played in the NCAA or anything like that. So while I know that the take is going to be, either all of them or none of them, or, you can't be arbitrary with this. And then I 100% agree. It's just it's tough to compare this case specifically because no one else before Charles Bediako had competed for multiple years, left for multiple years, and then return to competition. That's where there's that small distinction. But let's be honest, guys, it's a mess. We know it's a mess. Let's try to stay positive here. We just had a great week of college basketball, and honestly, gonna have a great Tuesday, a great Wednesday set up here. It's a heck of a week in the SEC. We've got Vandy Cats with only a 6-point spread. Alabama, Missouri. Alabama trying to bounce back. Missouri trying to follow up their overtime craziness. Arkansas is only a 3.5-point favorite at Oklahoma, a team that seems to just can't catch a break. And then Wednesday, Texas, Auburn, Tennessee at Georgia, Florida at South Carolina. Bunch of good games. All right, I think I'm caught up here. I'm going to quick pay some bills here. We've got A&D Collar, and they are the Workleisure. I'm doing this off the fly. You guys know what we've been telling you. They got the polos, button-ups, pants. They got ties, dress socks. If you need dress socks, all your dress accessories, and it's comfortable. It's got that kind of athletic, stretchy fit. And collar, A&D Collar. SE16, I believe, is the code. SE16. If that doesn't work, SEC16 over there at A&D Collar. As Sam says, makes you look like a CEO. Who doesn't want to be looking like a CEO and feeling like you can go to the gym in these clothes? They're seriously comfortable. And then also ROKFORM. I could have used some ROKFORM this weekend when I dropped the cellular and it went kaput on me. ROKFORM, you guys know all the cases. They got the car accessories, any type of case, phone accessory you need. ROKFORM's got it. ROKFORM. That's an SE16 code there at ROKFORM. Okay, let me try to catch up here. I'll go as long as you guys are rocking here. I thought I was only going to go about 30, 45 minutes, but hey, if you guys got questions, you know me. I'll talk SEC hoops all day. Donovan here. Max, tell me about how we were able to stop Condon in those bigs on Saturday. I was absolutely shocked. We weren't even able to do that last year. Yeah, okay, so I kind of have two different takes on what happened there in Gainesville. So we had John Calipari in a press conference earlier this year talk about just taking games off, just not being 110% focused, going in there kind of expecting to win, right? I think he said he talked about that after the Auburn game, and he had mentioned a previous game. I don't know if he was referring to the Houston game or what, but Calipari was kind of saying like, we won a few, we're feeling good, we're practicing well, we're making shots, and we just kind of lose focus a little bit. I think that may have happened to Florida. I'm not 100% sure, but you get the feeling, okay, Gators, 5-game win streak, smoking teams too, not just some, small 5-game win streak, smoking Tennessee, Oklahoma, going to Vanderbilt and getting a good shot from Vanderbilt and winning that game. Then really beating up on LSU on Tuesday. Then you got the long week waiting for Saturday. So half of that is, maybe Florida, what were they, 10, 11-point favorite? Just, went into that game taking Auburn a little bit lightly, not 110% focused for what Auburn was about to bring in. And then the other side is what I mentioned earlier. I really think there was a lot going on with Kashawn Murphy and that injury early in the season. It took a little bit of time for Filip Jovic to get going. He starts the first 3 games out of, right out the gate, starts the first 3, then comes back a little bit against Houston, in and out, I think he had a little bit of an injury there in late November, didn't play the St. John's game. You start SEC play, he only plays 7 minutes against Texas A&M. So a little bit up and down. You feel like Filip Jovic is as confident as he's been all year. So I think it's a combination of those two things. Murph being as healthy as he's been all year, Jovic being as confident as he's been all year, plus, you can't deny what Sebastian Williams-Adams was doing. He didn't have a huge game stat line wise, but what was it? The drive on, I think, Rubin, where he knocked Rubin down. I mean, just not afraid. Auburn played as aggressive as they could and really just took it to Florida. I was shocked too, to be honest. But I will say, they showed they can do something like that in the Arkansas game. They have shown that before. It just hasn't been every single game. So if they are able to kind of run that little, 60% of minutes Murph, 40% of minutes Jovic, with Jovic also getting a little bit of action at the 4. Also, if that's kind of this solid rotation and they stay healthy, I think this could be the new norm for Auburn, I think. Now, I say that. In 2 days, they play the most physical foul drawing team in the country with Matasvoki Titus in Texas. So we'll see if they can put it together in back-to-back games. If they can, I think you can't deny the development of this front court this year, and just kind of expect that moving forward as well. But it doesn't get any more, front court testing than 3 games in a row against Florida, Texas, and Tennessee. So, if they bring it 3 games in a row against 3 of the best front courts in the league, I don't know how we can deny it at this point. And I'll eat crow for saying I don't think the defense can get fixed earlier because I didn't think it could, and it has. So shout out to the Auburn front court there. Bo checking in. Is Smurf the best nickname in all of college basketball? It is great, isn't it? And it fits how he plays too. Point guard, dancing around out on the perimeter. He's tough to keep in front of him, but he's got some physicality to him. Don't let the nickname fool you. Smurf Millender. What are some of the best nicknames? I love JoJo for Joseph Tugler. I'm a big JoJo guy, but that's kind of just a shortening of his first name. There's a few good ones out there. I'm just blanking right now. Not sure why. Maybe. I can't think of it. I know there's one I really like, but I can't think of it. But let me know what your guys' favorite are. Salty Tiger checking in. What's going on, man? Hey, Ken Palm shows that Florida and Auburn are the most balanced team in the league. Do you think they can catch Texas A&M before the end of the season? It's a great question. I think I mentioned it earlier real quick. I think anyone can. I think, honestly, if you want to go even down to the teams that are 3-3, Tennessee, Alabama, tied at 3-3. Then Missouri, Georgia, Auburn, and Vanderbilt at 4-3. Kentucky, Arkansas, and Florida at 5-2, and then A&M all by themselves at 6-1. I think any of those teams can win the league. That's taken nothing away from Texas A&M. Absolutely nothing. Texas A&M could hold on and win this thing. They've got 2 road games coming up these next. They get the midweek off. But then they get 2 road games next. At Georgia will probably be a short underdog. And then at Alabama will probably also be a short underdog. And then home against Florida will probably also be a short underdog. So 3 big-time games for Texas A&M coming up here that will determine whether they, can hold that league title or not. But in terms of balance, you're not wrong at all. Maybe a Vanderbilt team, but even then, their defensive efficiency has really fallen back here since we've hit conference play, with their offense still being top 10. Yeah, if this Auburn defense is able to string this together, and this is the new norm for the Auburn defense and the Auburn physicality, then most definitely they can. This is it's so exciting personally. After last year, it was like every week past the middle of January, it was like, all right, it's going to be one of these 2 or 3 teams, and everyone knows who's going to win the league. It's going to be one of these 2. For it to be January 26th and the league is this wide open, man, we're in for some entertainment here, folks. But to answer your question, yes, 100%. If this is the new norm, totally. All right, moving along. Man, I've fallen behind again. Okay, Donovan, which SEC team has the highest potential and who has the highest floor? What a question. You guys are killing it with the questions today. Okay. Highest floor. If you asked me before Auburn went to Gainesville and beat up on them, I would have said Florida. I would have said you can trust the defense in front court, that floor is going to be elite, even if they don't make shots and whatnot. I think I would still go with... I want to still say Florida moving forward, but that performance on Saturday has me shook up a little bit. I don't want to just judge that if they were on a 5-game win streak with some big time wins. Probably the 2 most impressive being that road win at Vanderbilt, and then the 91-67 home win against Tennessee, probably the 2 most impressive there. But then, man, you come back at home and you lose, and you've lost a game at Missouri. I think I still want to say Florida for highest floor, but I'm less confident in that after this weekend. Highest potential, I would want to say a fully healthy with Charles Bediako Alabama team in terms of what they could potentially be if they have an Aiden Sherrill and Bediako rotation at the 5 with a healthy Amari Allen, Aiden Holloway, Charles Wrightsell, and the rest of those guys. I want to say a fully healthy Alabama team, but even then, guys, this is a 13-6 team that's 3-3 in the league. At some point, you are what you are, and the injuries have been absolutely brutal, but I mean, are we ever going to get a fully healthy team? So if my answer is not kind of the cop-out fully healthy Alabama for highest potential, I would say probably an Arkansas team that is fully connected defensively, which has not been the case. A consistent defensive rim protecting Arkansas team, I would say, has the highest potential. But even then, we haven't. You could say a fully connected defensive performance from Vanderbilt or Auburn. Kind of what I'm getting at here is all of these teams have a very obvious flaw. And so I could say, well, if this one thing happens, this team has the highest potential. If this thing happens, this team has the highest potential. So to answer just right now, given what we have on the court, I'll still say highest floor is Florida. A little bit tricky after this weekend, and I'll say highest potential. Man, that's a tough one. But I think I'm gonna go Arkansas. But there's really there's no confidence in that. That's a really great question. Who would you guys say highest potential overall? I mean, maybe Texas A&M if they keep playing like this and just don't stop losing. Highest floor Arkansas could also be, definitely. But then they've also got, some head scratchers there. Every team has some head scratchers now. So good question. I think there's a few teams you could put in there for each. Okay, let's see. Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky with the injuries there, you could put them as the highest potential. But potentially floor. would be Kentucky has a highest floor now with the way that they've been playing and the defense over the past few games. In conference play and SEC play only, Kentucky has the third best defensive efficiency. They're blocking shots. They're forcing turnovers. That could be a team I just overlooked there in terms of just consistency and floor. That's another good answer there. Yeah, E to the F and D is saying my answer is always Kentucky, but I'm biased. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's a good it's a good question. Donovan says floor is definitely Florida in your opinion. Yeah. How the HE double hockey sticks is Auburn not ranked this week, by the way. Guys, you gotta stop putting in significance to the AP poll. I know I'm kind of an analytics nerd and it could probably get annoying at points, but the AP poll is voted on by Sally Mae with the Phoenix Times-Press, who has only watched Arizona State basketball and doesn't know what the heck they're talking about. Sorry if there's actually a Sally Mae from the Phoenix Times-Press. I just made that up off the top of my head. But the people voting on that thing, a lot of them are not qualified. I'll put it at that. Will checking in here. Max, February 14th has a very big game and a rematch from earlier this year. Auburn versus Arkansas. February 14th is also Kentucky versus Florida. February 14th is a massive day in SEC basketball. That's what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3 Saturdays before that big one. Yeah, that's a huge one. Maybe we could get a watch along or something together for that Saturday. But yeah, that one is circled for me as well. Some opinions on the high, floors and stuff. Highest floor is definitely Arkansas. I don't think there's any bias coming from Mr. Malik Acuff. I love it. Oh, hey, as an Arkansas fan, Auburn is looking phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, you really can't deny the focus that in the turnaround that they've kind of had there. I ranked Auburn 4th in the power rankings after they had that big Arkansas win. And then they turn around and go to Missouri and drop that game and then have a close one. But that close one against Saturday, in the moment, I think we and I should say we as in, Blake and I and Chris and our chat members maybe put a little bit too much blame on Auburn in that South Carolina game and didn't credit Lamont Paris and South Carolina enough. I think that game was much more about South Carolina responding from their Wednesday embarrassment, 108-74 at Arkansas, and them responding, playing with pride, fighting, just to, what are we made of, guys? Come on, we got a lot of basketball to play here in terms of, Lamont Paris and his guys. So I think what we did, me personally, maybe penalized Auburn too much for that 4-point home win against South Carolina, dropped them down in the power rankings a little bit too much because the double road week at Ole Miss and then at Florida. Wow. I mean, that was a heck of a week. All right. We've got Desperado coming in here with a long one. Max, hope somebody listens to me. What would keep SEC teams or anyone else from protesting with the NCAA to declare any wins? Yeah, see, when it gets into like the nitty gritty of like the, you read the fine print of the bylaws of this temporary restraining order, then he's technically blah, 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 and makes my head hurt. I'm not sure with like the technicalities of if the NCAA says he's ineligible, but a temporary restraining order allows him to play, but then he is later deemed ineligible. I don't technically know. Mark Pope came out with that, line he had in the press conference and said, the NCAA does have the overriding power to decide who gets into the tournament and all this and that. But that would if they're selectively deciding who gets into March Madness based on what teams have sued them, or whatever it may be, then that can open up different stuff. So when it comes to if Bediako is later found ineligible, I don't think it impacts Alabama's postseason hopes, but that's just a part of the mess. I really don't. I'm really not sure. Let's see here. Moving down, we still got some, man, you guys are just killing it. I think Todd Golden is the best coach in the SEC. Is there any argument against that? When you're coming off of a national championship in your third year with the program, I'm not going to be pushing back on that at all. There's a lot of great coaches in this league that have a lot more accolades in terms of just career wins, SEC tournaments, NCAA tournament wins, and whatnot that you can compare. But when it comes to Florida's analytical first approach and what Todd Golden just did last year, you're not going to get any pushback from me there. Could have used a little bit more shooting in his roster building, though, this year, I will say. So, hey, nobody's perfect. All right, moving on down. Texas A&M is legit. Yes, they are. I agree. Rashawn Agee is one of the best stories in college basketball this year. Just in terms of what he was expected to produce and what he is producing. And Ruben Dominguez, hey, he's one of those former Euro pros from Porto Real, Spain. He's got the 5th highest offensive rating in the nation right now. One of the best shooters I've seen in some time. So yeah, 100% legit. And a great coach to go with it. Todd Golden just got out coached last night by the youngest coach in the SEC. So no, I don't think I would put Todd Golden at 1C. Hey, there are pushbacks. But I'm gonna go with I'm gonna just lean on the ring. Oh, I missed a super chat. Okay, sorry. Let me go back up from Grayson. Yes, sorry, Grayson. Thank you for catching that. Cats winning. The Seahawks on the way to the Super Bowl. Good week. Yes, hey, you guys know my Pats are headed to the Super Bowl. I had zero confidence that they would win in Denver against kind of that defense and everything. Just had no hope, and now I have no hope that they're going to win. I will probably be placing a wager on the Seahawks spread. I love Kenneth Walker. I love the story of Darnold, and JSN is just, jeez, he's incredible. And then, hey, you add some Cats hoops in there as well. What a week for Grayson. Hey, Grayson, quick question. How did you become a Cats fan and a Seahawks fan? That's quite that's opposite ends of the country there. All right. Moving on down. I will keep going as long as you guys want to talk SEC hoops. Everybody's talking about Ben Stoned. I think we can all agree Arkansas is the best team in the world right now. WPS. I will not. Love it. I love it. Hey, you guys are the best. You get some funny names in this chat. All right. Brian hasn't had oh my gosh, Brian, have I missed some of yours? Is the Kentucky fan base regaining their hope in Pope? That's a good question. It was certainly fading there early in the season. Kentucky fans, weigh in. How are you feeling about really the SEC play as a whole here? You start out in a tough spot. Got to go to Tuscaloosa to play an Alabama team that, can kind of take advantage of the lack of perimeter scoring that Kentucky had during that time. And they put up almost 90. Yelovich didn't play in that game. Man, isn't that crazy to look back? We're still in the same month here, guys. January 3rd. Yelovich, healthy scratch. This guy's making winning play after winning play now. This feels longer than a month ago, or less than a month ago. But yeah, how are you feeling about the hope in Pope? It feels like he's found the formula with what he's got here. Never lost hope. Adversity in this league is inevitable. That kind of is the theme of this year in SEC basketball. Can you just ride out the lows long enough to bounce back up? That's kind of what there's really not a single team that hasn't had to, go through some rough patches, a little bit of soul searching. It's really been the story of the league this year, fighting through adversity. I'm sorry if I've missed some comments here, guys. I think we're kind of coming to an end here. I'm going to scroll back up and try to find a few more here to work with. All right, another one from Brian here. Hey, does Rick Barnes move on if Tennessee ends the season with a mediocre year? I'll just be fully honest with you folks. I didn't expect Rick Barnes to be coaching this year, just given kind of like the teams he's had over the past few years. You've got a guy like Zakai Ziegler, who's just if you ask, Rick Barnes, hey, who else would you say you could compare Zakai Ziegler to that you've coached before? He would probably give you an answer like none, one of one. Z was a one of one. I could see Zakai Ziegler being an assistant coach, right away. And just, he had Triple J for so long, he had all these teams where in the day and age of the portal area, he had these teams that had this continuity to them. And I was like, man, if there's ever going to be a time that Rick Barnes, it would make sense for him to step away after back-to-back Elite Eights. You coach out Zakai Ziegler's career, and it would make sense. And so for him to be back at it and having an adversity type of year, lost Cade Phillips to injury, had JP Estrella an injury early, been shuffling around kind of that 2 spot in the lineup. Bishop Boswell had an injury that he was dealing with in mid to late November. So, hey, Rick Barnes, hats off, man. Still killing it. But hey, I would not be surprised, but maybe a little bit more surprised next year. As I mentioned, I thought he would go out with Ziegler, to be honest. Okay, let me try to see what we got here. When do the rankings come out? I don't know if we're gonna do a power ranking this week. Blake and Chris still do not have power whatsoever. The only way I'm able to communicate with Blake is through email off his cellular, off his 5G. That's the only way I've been able to communicate with them. They are both completely without power. Blake had mentioned that that the power company was coming to his neighborhood and was chopping trees down and whatnot. So I really don't. I'm not sure. It may be me solo for another day or two. But to be determined there. You guys will know as soon as I do. Justin, I think I missed a few of your questions. I'm trying to scroll back up and find some. I'm sorry, guys, if I missed some. Usually I'm looking at the chat the whole time and I'm able to kind of star them and save them for later. So if you also had asked a question earlier and I missed it, my apologies. Yeah, sorry about that. Justin, if I couldn't find one, if you do have a pressing one, just send it in again. Here, I'll do like a little here. We're at 54 minutes. Little 5-10 minute warning. If you got another if you do have a question, if you could resend that, just because a lot of them got lost in the shuffle there. And a $10 super chat from EJ. Thank you. If you guys haven't looked at EJ's his Legends show, we went about an hour with EJ. It was a great show. All right, give us your 5 SEC first team players off the top of your head. Go. Okay. Tommy H. I'll go Tommy H. We'll go Darius Acuff. We'll go LeBaron Philon. I'm at 3. Okay, I got a Tommy H, Acuff, Philon. Why is it so hard to think right now? I'll go Tyler Tanner, and then I'm gonna miss somebody, but I'll go Kershawn Hall. I'll go Tommy H, Darius Acuff. I'm already forgetting Philon, Tanner, and Hall. There's my 5. On the fly, off the top of my head. Great question. Thanks for putting me on the spot there. Who did I miss? I got to see who I missed. I definitely missed somebody. Gillespie. Gillespie's probably the biggest miss I missed there. Yep. Probably Gillespie. Some others. But yeah, almost missed. I almost missed Hall. Yep. But I would probably go with those 5 right now. There's definitely a few on the outside that have been putting up incredible numbers. Oway has been putting up incredible numbers. There's like Rashawn Agee. If you guys look at this guy's stat line, it is beyond consistent. I mentioned Gillespie, Mark Mitchell. Yeah, there's I'm definitely missing more. AJ Storr has been a 20-point per game guy. Nate Ament just dropped a 30 bomb. So yeah, I think those would probably be mine. It's gonna be a good vote to end the year. You can only pick 5. There's no more 8-man teams anymore. So at the 5 that get picked this year, it's going to be quite an honor because there's going to be a few left off. Okay. Moving on. Brian checking in. Good to see from you, Brian. Hey, guys. Hope everyone is good and safe after this storm. Here in Conway, Arkansas, we were really lucky. Mostly all snow. Yeah, that's the thing with Nashville is they got crushed with that ice. Trees just covered in ice. And you can see, I think my whole the sun is going down. I'm turning into doing a stream in the dark here. All right. Hey, that's what you get. All right. Let's see. Donovan had Tommy H. Acuff, Holloway, Kashawn Hall, and Tanner. And I believe EJ agrees there. We had an Ament shout out. Why has McLaughlin gone from first team all bully ball as an undersized 5 to an underperforming 4, his true position in a Byington offense? That is a good question. I've got Devin McLaughlin on my fantasy team. I picked him. I was like, you know what? McLaughlin in his preferred position from when he was back at BC, I think McLaughlin can just be, a stat sheet stuffer this year, if you will. And I'm not 100% sure why he's taken that, kind of back seat. I think honestly, if Okereke wasn't in the mix, we would probably be seeing that uptick in statistical output that we thought. But with Okereke in there, I mean, hey, what's McLaughlin's weight? Okay, McLaughlin's 6'7", 230. Okereke 6'7", 245. So not only did you add a Jalen Washington, which allows McLaughlin to move down there, but you also basically added another McLaughlin in Okereke, who's been pretty dang good. So I think it's a little bit of maybe just another year in the SEC. Now every opposing coach has seen a full season of tape on McLaughlin against SEC opponents, and then also adding in some other names into the front court. Efficiency-wise, McLaughlin has not really fallen back. Offensive rating of 130 last year, 129 this year. Still kind of right there. Still a very efficient offensive guy. But you aren't wrong. I have noticed that as well. And still plenty of basketball left to get McLaughlin's confidence back. It might be a confidence thing here. Your top 5 rankings. Whew, boy, what a question. That is really tough. We'll go in you want an order? If you did an order, if you want an order, man, it's tough to put Florida 1 right now, especially when Auburn just went in there and did that. But if you don't have Auburn 1, then you're looking at having probably Vanderbilt or Arkansas 1. But it's tough to put Arkansas too far ahead of Auburn based on what Auburn did to Arkansas. And it's tough to put Vanderbilt ahead of Florida, given Florida just went to Memorial and beat them. So it's a tough number 1 spot because all you have, kind of those, and you could also put Texas A&M there at number 1 if you wanted to. So it's a tough number 1 ranking. I'll go top 5. Arkansas. I'll go Arkansas at 1. I will. I'll go Arkansas at 1 right now. Man, actually, I want to go Aggies at 1. We're going to go Texas A&M at 1, Arkansas at 2, Florida at 3, Auburn at 4, and Vanderbilt at 5, maybe? Maybe Auburn at 3? I want to put Auburn higher. A&M 1. But see, the thing is if you put A&M 1 and you put Auburn in there, then Florida, Arkansas, or Auburn is going to get screwed in the top 5. Absolutely screwed. And I haven't even talked about Alabama yet. I haven't even mentioned Georgia. Kentucky is 5-2 in the league. I can't do that to Auburn. I know I can't do that to Auburn. They've been playing fantastic. EJ, once you're ranked number 1, you instantly lose. Brian says Arkansas, Florida, Auburn, Vandy, Kentucky. I need to see A&M play, but 6-1 is great. Man, I'm going to tell you, A&M is legit, man. They're 16-4. 2 of those 4 losses are in overtime. Both of them are not at home. They are legit. So yeah, I mean, wide open. Wide open. Absolutely wide open. EJ's got Aggies at 1. One Feisty Tigers got Auburn at 1. It's really just honestly at this point in the season, it's just consistency. Who can put together a consistent 2 weeks? Because really no one's been able to do that yet. So and you also have the argument of the Keyshawn Hall buzzer beater, and they could be 5-2, and Auburn would be 5-2 tied with them. So you have that. It's a cluster. Yeah. Dance King has Arkansas, A&M, Florida. But then if you have Arkansas, A&M and Florida as your top 3, I think Auburn gets the boot there. So yeah, hey, you guys know it's a cluster up there. I think you'd really have to extend it out to a top 6 or 7 to really give credit to the top, the title contenders here. I haven't mentioned Tennessee either. Because they have 3 losses. But they've beaten Texas A&M and Alabama. So, man, it's a cluster up there. All right, I'll take 1 or 2 more here, and then I am going to step up. I did not think we would go in an hour plus, guys. This has been fantastic. Appreciate you joining in on this little snow day edition of hey, SEC basketball mailbag, SE hoops talk, whatever you want to call it. This is what it's all about. Okay. Yep. The league is up for grabs. I'll end on Donovan's here. Instead of a power ranking, who do you think is most likely to finish 1, 2, and 3 in the final standings? Okay. I'll end on this one. I'll go not looking at the remaining schedules, most likely to finish 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to be giving Texas A&M the bad boot here, but they've been doing great as underdogs. They have. But the next 3 games, they are going to be underdogs in the next 3 games. So given that, I think they will fall back just a little bit in the standings. I think most likely to finish 1 would be Florida. Most likely to finish 2 would be Arkansas. And then to finish 3, see, because the thing is Arkansas has that game up on Auburn and Vanderbilt. And Alabama's 3-3, Tennessee's 3-3, Georgia 4-3, Kentucky's 5-2. I'll go A&M for 3, just because they're already 6-1. They've got 2 games up on Vanderbilt, Auburn, and all them. Hey, 2 games up is. It's a healthy little cushion there. So I'll go most likely to finish 1, 2, 3. I'll go Florida, Arkansas, Texas A&M. If you want my dark horse to jump into that, Auburn. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Auburn and the way that their schedule sets up. They've got 3 home games of their next 4. They're going to Tennessee. Will probably be an underdog in that game. But then you get home games against Texas, Alabama, and Vanderbilt. All 3 teams have been struggling away from their home gyms. A little dark. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. But guys, I mean, the league's wide open. You could see a 3-3 Alabama or Tennessee make a run. So we'll see. All right, guys. Hey, thank you. Thank you, truly. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for the super chats. Apologize for kind of the craziness here, with the changing schedules. To all of you who are snowed in, to who don't have power, maybe watching this on a 5G LTE or something, best wishes with everyone. Prayers out. God bless with this weather here, really. Hope everyone is safe. And I wish I could give you a kind of a, when I'll see you next. But I'm not 100% sure. So we'll say this. If Blake and Chris get power back in Nashville tomorrow, we'll probably be up and running. Might be a few hours behind schedule, but we'll probably be up and running as usual. If not, at the very least, I will be back for solo reactions to Arkansas, Oklahoma, and then the nightcap Kentucky and Vanderbilt and Alabama, Missouri is sandwiched in between there. So at the very, very least, you'll have me solo for reactions tomorrow night to the Tuesday games. So thank you, everybody, for joining. We are presented by Collar, ROKFORM. Check out those guys. Support them. It supports us. Give this video a like if you can. Comment. Helps the analytics. Stay safe out there. This has been Southeastern 16, presented by